You're listening to In the Balance, an Iowa Judicial Branch podcast. Welcome back to another episode. This month, we are breaking down the Iowa Judicial Branch budget, which was approved earlier this month. I sat down with State Court Administrator Bob Gast to discuss the budget process, from proposal to approval, and how the money will support the judicial branch's mission to administer justice under law equally to all persons. While the judicial branch is a separate branch of government, our budget is set by the Iowa legislature each year on a fiscal year cycle. For example, our budget will be accessible for the fiscal year of 2023 on July 1st of 2022 and runs until June 30th of 2023. This is a similar structure as your local school districts. Each January, the judicial branch submits a detailed budget proposal to the legislature, requesting funds to help support our current operations, as well as expand our services for Iowans accessing their judicial system. To better understand our budget proposal for this fiscal year, beginning July 1, 2022, and what aspects were approved by the legislature, Bob Gast, State Court Administrator, offers a more in-depth explanation. Bob, welcome back to the podcast. As the State Court Administrator, what is your role in the budget process?
My role is to gather requests from each district and department in the branch and then determine what requests warrant consideration by the Supreme Court for inclusion into our budget submission that then goes to the governor and the legislature. Once that package is finalized by the Supreme Court and sent to the legislature, I'm also then tasked with briefing the legislative judicial appropriations committees on the particulars of our budget request. I also work very closely with our Director of Governmental Relations, Caitlin Jarzen, as the budget bill works its way through both houses.
So walk us through the initial proposal that the Supreme Court sent to the legislature for our fiscal year 2023 budget.
This year's initial proposal had a 1.1% across-the-board raise for both contract and non-contract employees, 3% step raises for both contract and non-contract employees, a 3% across-the-board increase for non-contract employees that was given to the executive branch last year, and we attempted to have the same raise for our non-contract employees this year. There was also a 5.9% judicial officer salary increase. There were monies allotted for adding 4 more district associate judge spots along with their corresponding support staff, and also money to unfreeze positions that have been frozen for 3 years, and monies to fund ongoing reclassification efforts. And the final thing was money for numerous position requests statewide.
And after the proposal is submitted for consideration to the legislature, what does the process look like prior to that final budget being set and then signed by the governor?
Each portion of the legislature, both House and Senate, deliberate and debate on the proposed bill. They then usually submit their own versions of the bill that then have to be debated and agreed upon by both houses before they submit to the governor. And once agreed, then it is sent to the governor for signature, who can then line item veto portions of the bill and send back to the legislature for further debate if a veto is given.
Once those funds are approved by the governor, who then decides how it's going to be allocated amongst the entirety of the judicial branch?
I then take a look at the approved budget that comes from the governor and take that approved budget and make recommendations from our submitted initial budget request to the Supreme Court. The court then looks at my requests and the initial budget and determines from that how we are going to spend our money and what will be funded and what will not be.
So in regards to that, what are those main differences between the initial proposed budget and the approved budget for the upcoming year?
The main differences for this year were the lowering of the judicial officer pay raise from 5.9% to 2%, and the lowering of the step raises for all employees from 3% to 2%. We also cut down a number of the numerous added positions. We cut that number down to 2 new positions that will be added.
And what projects will this additional money fund in the coming year that we can look forward to?
This year's expenditure was primarily in the form of a much needed and deserved pay raises for all branch employees. We are also adding 4 more district associate judges and staff in Polk County, Sioux County, and in districts 8A and 2A. So primarily we didn't have any large projects that made it through the budget process this year.
Thank you so much for your time, Bob. You've been listening to In the Balance, an Iowa Judicial Branch podcast hosted and produced by me, Marissa Gaal. If you would like more information about Iowa's courts, you can visit www.iowacourts.gov. You can also follow the Iowa Judicial Branch on Twitter and YouTube at Iowa Courts. This episode of In the Balance is now adjourned. Until next time.